to watching films, movies, and/or TV shows, reading books were treated as the most boring thing you can do. But before getting bored, how about appreciate it first? Let us go back to the book's humble beginning.
Mid-1400s, Johann Gutenberg invented the movable metal type. He used small blocks of type arranged into words, lines, and pages to produce dozens, even hundreds and thousands copies of books. 1456, first printed book by movable metal type was published, the Gutenberg Bible. 1638 to 1644, Puritans established Cambridge Press in colonies of Massachusetts. The whole book of Psalms is one of the books published in Cambridge Press. March 22, 1765, an act granting and applying certain stamp duties in Britain and America towards further defraying the expenses of defending, protecting, and securing Stamp Act by George Grenville gave permission to the government to take control the printing of books in the colonies and plantations. 1860, dime novels appeared.
1884, one of the most notable inventions developed by a German watchmaker named Ottmar Mergenthaler, a linotype machine. Its keyboard looks very similar to a typewriter. Thus, it sped up the printing process and allowed letterpress to flourish. 1885, an offset lithography is a printing technique wherein ink is not applied directly to the printing plate to a blanket, then lastly transferred to a substrate to produce printed product. This invention produced sharp and clear images and letters. After these inventions, different kinds of books were published, like paperbacks, pocket, hardbound, penguin, and lastly, textbooks.
The Filipinos were found to be illiterate people by Spanish colonizers when they reached the islands in 1521. They found the natives with systems of writing with language of their own in many dialects and with education and law to eat. Under the control of the Spanish crown, books could not be printed except by a royal license. In 1556, a royal cedula prohibited the printing or sale of books concerning the Indies without special license. In 1584, King Philip II of Spain gave instructions to the Real Audiencia in Manila. When any grammar or dictionary of the language of the Indies be made, it shall not be published or printed or used unless it has the first been examined by the bishop and seen by the Real Audiencia. On the 20th of June 1593, Gomez Perez Dasmariñas, the governor and captain general of the Spanish Philippines, requested a letter for the printing of the Doctrina Christiana. In the same year, 3 doctrinas were printed: the Doctrina Christiana en Lengua Española y Tagala, the Tratado de la Doctrina de la Santa Iglesia y Ciencias Naturales, and the Doctrina Christiana China. In 1602, the same De Vera set up the first printing press using movable type under the guidance of the Dominican friar Francisco Blanco de Jose. In 1610, Thomas Pinpin, the father of Philippine printing, took over the press. Between 1610 and 1693, while managing the Dominican press, Pinpin printed 14 books. One of those was San Jose's Artes y Reglas de la Lengua Tagala in 1610, and also the Vocabulario de la Lengua Tagala in 1613 by Fray San Jose Buenaventura. Until long after the beginning of the 19th century, the existing printing presses were owned by the Dominicans, the Franciscans, and the Jesuits. Several presses would also later be established outside Manila. The opening of the country to foreign trade in 1785 ushered in new printing technologies as the need for information, news, and learning increased. 1833, Francisco Baltasar wrote and published Florante at Laura, a satire on Spanish rule which evoked feelings of nationalism among Filipinos. Despite censorship, Filipinos criticized the Spanish rule. Clandestine publications must have prompted the royal decree of 20th of May 1750, stipulating that no printing should occur without license. A permanent censorship commission was credited in 1857. The first lithographic printery was established by a Spaniard, Salvador Joffre, in 1880. Toward the end of the 19th century, nascent feelings of nationalism erupted into reform movement that was spearheaded by Filipino students and expatriates in Europe.